And Bonds hits right high. It's a deep. It is out of here. This is caught. Diggs. Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable. Bryant for the win. Bang. Watch out. He's got getting away from the top speed.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SGN video where it's all sim all the time. Today's video we're bringing you episode 2 of our Saints rebuild, which is the hardest team to rebuild in Madden NFL 25. Now, it's been a couple weeks since we did the first episode, been caught up with 2K, working on some slider updates, do the patches, keeping me busy. So it's been a little bit since we've dropped the first episode, and in real life, the Saints are 2-0 and look like the real deal. However, that doesn't change their cap situation going forward. They have a lot of issues to figure out after this year. We've already went over the cap situation in year one. That doesn't change. Now, does their success this year mean that I think they're not as hard? Of course not. They started off 2-0. They have talent on their roster. It's how are you going to build upon that in the years in the years coming forward. And based on the cap situation, this is the peak of the Saints talent-wise. They're going to have a drop-off in talent just because of cap. So we're going to continue on. And in this video, we are going to do preseason. So before we dive into that, man, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are well on our way to 15,000 subs. And every single person who subscribes really helps me out and helps me achieve my goal for 2024, which was to get to 15,000 subs. Got 3 months to get there, 4 months to get there. So definitely help me out. Appreciate you. Let's get into the video. So we're going to be simulating everything in the preseason. The main thing we're going to be doing from week to week is we're going to be using the random event generator, and then we're going to do the random draft class strength generator before we advance to week 1 to see what that's going to look like and see if there's any potential injuries. Now, when we left off the last video, I had mentioned that I wasn't sure if I was going to make another trade of either Marshawn Lattimore or Demario Davis. I think right now I'm going to hold off. I think I want to see what Demario Davis does, keep him for this year, and see if he potentially retires. I don't have to worry about trading him. We'll reevaluate Lattimore or Tyrann Mathieu again down the line. I think I'm done making trades unless I find a potential player on a roster. I think, okay, we could free up a little cap space, and we'll make something there. So anyway, we're just going to kind of go through everything. We know we're going to get a couple scenarios that pop up, and we're going to talk position battles. Now, if it's quarterback based, I have no intention of starting Spencer Adler. I want it to be Joe Flacco. So we'll just find out what it is. You should be having a tight end position battle according to most experts. No, we should not. It's going to be Juwan Johnson. Like, there's no debate about it. There will not be a battle. Straight up. Johnson is our starter. It's straight up. I don't care how it goes in the locker room. There's really no question about it. When you look at the overall and the age difference. So we're going to get through this second question here. Can we speed it up a little bit? Now, in the middle of camp, I've got some roster. Okay. Great, let's go. Quick question about the outside linebacker, Willie Gay. Okay, he's our starter. What would you have him working on in training camp? I would like to have him work on tackling. Cool. Okay, let's just continue through this. And because we are now in week 2, we have another random event generator. Now, because of how I'm doing this video, unfortunately, I can't tie in the random event generator because I'm recording on my computer with the PlayStation on the other monitor. In the past when I've done it, it's been a little bit different because I record my face over things after that, but this one, because we're doing it live, I can't do that. So we are going to go ahead and see what team is going to have a random event pop up. Now, the last one we had was for the Giants wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson, suspended, but we're not going to apply that suspension until the regular season because the suspension is only for regular season games, not preseason games. So the Bears are the team that popped up. We are now going to see what position is affected. So we are going to keep Wan'Dale Robinson. We know that there's an issue there. Their running back one for the Chicago Bears is having a random event. All right, we'll see what it is. So he is having a trade request. Let's go take a look at the Bears. And because we'll put him on the trade block now. We'll take control of the Bears. I gotta remember how to take control. Make a new character. And this is what's cool about the offline franchises. It allows you to do this kind of thing. We're gonna go to Chicago. They have DeAndre Swift, I believe. Who did they just sign in this year or last year? I can't remember. Either way, we are gonna go to their roster. And running back one, DeAndre Swift. He is requesting a trade. He's a superstar. What's his contract look like? Just out of curiosity. He is locked up for 2 more years. He's 2024 and he's got 2 more years on top of that. He's a big fit there. But either way, he is going to go on the trade block. All right, and now we can switch over to our head coach, and we will continue through the preseason. And that event was specific to he wants a trade request in the preseason, so that's why we did it, which is actually kind of cool that it popped up right there. So we're going to advance a week, and we're going to force advance. Alrighty, so we don't have anything popping up for any other press conference or anything like that, so we are going to do another random event generator, and we're going to see what team falls on this time. And it is the Vikings, so it's staying in the NFC North for whatever reason. We've had an all NFC team so far: Giants, Bears, and now the Vikings. And the Vikings, their third cornerback number 3 on their depth chart is substance abuse, man. He's getting suspended. But it's their third string corner. So again, that'll be a list of a player that we are going to edit so they don't play for 8 games come the regular season. No reason to do it in the preseason because, again, we know that they can still play preseason games when they're suspended. All right, so we do have a new storyline. We're going to check out this storyline here. And then we're going to hop into the draft class. See what our draft class strength's going to look like. We're ready to do it. Team culture. I have no idea what to expect. I'm just not trying to, spend a ton of time on this right now. We're going to talk about our team culture. Okay, this is actually kind of cool that they do this. I hope to expand on this in years and add a lot more variables. What do you want us to embrace? We're going to be physical. That's 100% what we're going to be. That's what we got on this team. When you got Chase Young and Demario Davis, Lattimore, Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, that's what we got to be, is play physical. All right, so before we actually do the draft class strength generator, just because it's the bye week doesn't mean we're not going to have a random event. We're doing a random event every single week. So for the final week of the preseason, we are doing a random event. And it popped up the Giants. But because the Giants have already had one, we're doing another team. I don't want to do the same. We're not doing the same team. All right, so now we got the AFC, which is going to be the Buffalo Bills. And we'll see what we get. Now remember, if you guys are curious and like, hey, where can I do this random event generator? I do have the video out and the link is in the description of that below. So if this is something you want to use this, you haven't seen it on my channel before, it's free. So wide receiver 2 for the Buffalo Bills is drawing an event. And I hope we get something other than trade request or suspension. And they are getting superstar dev upgrade. So we don't have to take control of them for that. We are just going to go to the Buffalo Bills roster here. And that's what's cool about having roster editing on, is you can do some of this stuff without having to take control. So Curtis Samuel's wide receiver 1. According to this, Khalil Shakir is wide receiver number 2, and he just got a little bit of an upgrade, which is kind of cool. He's 24 years old, so it makes sense with the breakout. We are going to go over to player traits, and he gets superstar upgrade. So very, very cool that is going to happen for them now. It actually works out very well because Curtis Samuel is a little bit older on the wide receiver end, and Valdez Scantling is, look at they're all older than Shakir and Keon Coleman. So that actually works out pretty well for the Buffalo Bills on that front. That is going to wrap up our random event generator for the preseason. Now we're going to head over to our draft class strength. Again, you need to do this before week 1 when it asks you to select if you want to do a custom draft class, a user-created one, or if you want to do one from EA, just a generated one. I like to do generated ones just because they say their names. So now we're going to go ahead and I have the random draft class generator wheel, which again, I have a video on this with the link in the description. So if you like this, it's free for you to use. You just got to watch the video and grab the link. So basically we have a spin wheel here, and it rotates through the different options of normal, strong, very weak, weak, or normal. However, normal, strong, and weak are weighted higher in the wheel as far as their chances to hit than very weak or very strong. So let's get after it with the first spin for quarterbacks. Each wheel spin takes 10 to 15 seconds. Typically, I can kind of see ahead of time, and it's going to be normal for quarterbacks. So we're not changing anything there. We can go on to running back and spin again. See what we got for running back. Now, I'm sitting here thinking, looking at my team, we're moving on from Alvin Kamara. I hope that we get something good for running back. And it's going to be normal for running backs. So doesn't mean we can't find a good running back in the draft, but obviously had it been a strong or very strong, I would have been feeling a lot better about finding a running draft to replace Alvin Kamara in the draft without having to spend free agency money on a running back, especially when we're not going to have a lot of money at all to do things with. All right, so wide receivers. Oofta. This is rough. This hit a very weak, not a good class to build our wide receivers. Luckily, we got Olave and Shaheed, and they're not going to go anywhere. But yeah, anything looking for depth offensively at the wide receiver position, not going to be the year for that. Now we're on tight ends. Again, a position I don't really have a focus on because we have Juwan Johnson, so what really happens here doesn't matter to me. And of course, as I say that, it lands on strong. So tight end class is going to be looking good. So where I really wanted something running backs, we got normal. Quarterback, I'm kind of indifferent because I do want to see what we could get with Spencer Rattler. So now we are on to the offensive line, which of course you always want to have options at the offensive line position to build that out. It would also allow us to maybe move some players around and save a little bit of money and develop there as well. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the case because we just hit a very weak for offensive tackles. One of our better players is an offensive tackle who's set to make a ton of money. And of course, now the idea of replacing him in the draft and moving on to save some money, not looking great. So now we're on interior offensive lineman, guard, center position. And it is, guys, this is a horrible draft right now. We are at week. That means I'm going to assume that just the randomness of the wheel, we're going to have a strong defense. Just the odds would tell you that we're going to start hitting a lot of strong on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm wrong. Defensive ends are weak. So this makes it even more important for us to re-sign Chase Young, who is going to be a free agent unless we can find a way to extend him. However, we don't have a lot of cap space right now to extend him in season, which means he is going to hit free agency, which is why, again, I'm trying to find ways to come up with money so we can extend him. I don't want him to hit the open market. I don't. Interior defensive lineman, this is a need for us, and we got very strong, thank God. We need interior. We run a 4-3. This is a 3. No, we run a 4-3. Wow. So this is a huge need for us, and we finally hit a very strong on a position that we needed. That is fantastic. Linebackers, we actually have a pretty decent linebacker where we're at, but we got some older guys. So coming up again, Demario Davis, Willie Gay. It was almost strong and it hit very weak. So we're not going to get any help there. Now, cornerback position. If we can pull a strong or very strong, we have Paulson Adebo, we have Kool-Aid McKinney. If we could get somebody here in the cornerback at the draft, we could move on from Marshawn Lattimore. And we hit strong there. So, of course, we're going to have to draft well, but there is going to be an option for us there. Now, of course, I don't care so much about the kickers and punters, so this is the last position that's really going to matter to us. Safety. If we can hit something good here, we could potentially move on from Tyrann Mathieu, but we hit weak. So this has been a tough draft for us, guys. We got 3 very weaks and only 1 very strong. Tough draft. We're gonna have to. We're gonna really have to invest a lot of time in the defensive line, the corners, and running back. Like that's where we're gonna have to scout a lot of. I really don't think there's a need to. We could look at quarterbacks. We just drafted Spencer Rattler. We'll see what happens there, but there's just not a lot there. We will do kickers and punters, although, nobody really. You're not drafting until the 6th, 7th round anyway. But we will see what it looks like there. So for kicker, we got normal. And for punter, let's go ahead and do punter real quick. Oh, this sucks, man. For rebuilding, we only hit 1 position that 2, I guess. Punters are weak. All right, that is our draft class strength of what we can expect. Now, we could still find talent on a weak draft class. It's just going to be much harder to find. So that's the thing that stinks about that. So we're going to go ahead and advance 1 more week. It doesn't look like we've had any injuries of any sort right now, which is good. Get out of the preseason injury-free without anything crazy happening. All right, so we are going to go ahead and knock out a couple of these things. First off, season goal. I think we have to make the playoffs. Considering the division we're in and some of the talent we have on this roster, it has to be goals to make playoffs, 100%. Storyline, we got a new storyline here that's going to play out. Let's go ahead and see what it is. It's on Marshawn Lattimore. We're going to definitely focus on injury prevention. I think if we're going to have any chance on making the playoffs, we don't want him to get hurt. Plus, if we're thinking about maybe moving on from him, because he's got 1 year left on his deal, so he should be pretty tradable with just the 1 year left. We can't have him recovering from an ACL or an Achilles or anything crazy like that. The next thing we're going to do in this video, and probably the last thing we're going to do in this video, is you guys know for player progression, I do it, and I recommend doing it in 3 tiers. You do it after the preseason when everyone's had their full training and all that fun stuff. You'll do it week 9 in the regular season, then after the Super Bowl is when you can upgrade your players. So we just finished the preseason, so we are going to turn on upgrade players. We're just going to go through and upgrade our players who, based on the preseason, earned some upgrades. So Rashid Shaheed, we're definitely hitting this one right now. Looking at how he's been playing, man, we got to go deep threat. Got to upgrade that deep threat. Have him there. Cool that he's a star dev. And some of these I'll let him go automatically, you know. But I do like to look through and see what's here that I'm interested. Defensive tackle, we're going to definitely make a point to do defensive tackle just because it is if there's an extreme weak spot on our roster, it's this position. It is defensive tackle. Well, offensive line, I'm pretty happy with. Linebackers, you can't really complain too much about their linebacker spot. Offensive line's pretty solid. Corners are good. Safeties are solid other than strong safety. Definitely need some help at the strong safety position. But Pete Werner, we're going to take a look here. See how we want to go. Well, yeah, should we do we want him to be able to... We want a little bit of pass rush, right? I know we run a 4-3. We have 2 good rushers over there, but we do want to be able to have them rush the passer a little bit, I think. And let's get our defensive tackle up. I'm glad that our defensive tackles are getting some upgrades because we need it, y'all. We need it. Cool. So let's go through that quickly. Again, some of these I'm just going to let them automatically upgrade. Yeah, we'll go agile there. Cool. And see if there's anything else here that I'm like very specific about. Kicker, no, don't care. Punter, don't care. Nope. Don't care about any of that. So we're just gonna breeze through it and do an upgrade. I really wish Madden would add the AI generated player faces so we don't have the same 250 faces in the game. 250 sounds like a lot, but you see them so often. So anyway, guys, that is going to end week 2, or excuse me, video 2 with how we're set up. I'm going to make sure we get all of our random events that happen squared away. I'm going to make sure that the sliders are ready and updated based on updates that have come out from Madden for the week 1 game. And then we are going to dive in and we are going to play a game on stream, and that'll be episode 3. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking out this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you want to see in further episodes, how you want me to do this format to make sure you guys are interested in enjoying how I present this to you, what I can do to make this experience more immersive for you as you watch this video. Otherwise, y'all, that's it for this one. Stay tuned to the next one. Peace.